The Zephyrian war fleet hung in Earth's orbit like metallic storm clouds, their obsidian hulls gleaming with the promise of annihilation. Admiral Kexithera gazed down at the blue marble below through the viewport of his flagship, the Divine Retribution. In his 3 centuries of conquest, he had witnessed the surrender of 47 worlds. This would be the 48th. Broadcast the standard surrender demand, he commanded his communications officer. Give them the usual terms: complete capitulation within 1 solar rotation or face extinction. The message was transmitted across all human frequencies. Primitive species of the 3rd planet. You stand before the might of the Zephyrian hegemony. Surrender now and your deaths will be swift. Resist and watch your world burn. You have 24 of your time units to comply. Admiral Kexithera settled back in his command chair, expecting the usual response: panicked pleas for mercy, desperate attempts at negotiation, or the defiant but ultimately futile declaration of resistance. Instead, what came back through the communication array made him pause. Did they just ask if this was the warm-up? His communications officer translated, confusion evident in his voice. The human response crackled through the speakers again. This is United Earth Defense Command. We've received your transmission. Just to clarify, is this your full fleet, or are you bringing more ships for the actual fight? Kexthera's 4 eyes narrowed. Increase the scan resolution. Show them our numbers. The sensor array revealed the true scope of the Zephyrian Armada. Over 3,000 vessels, each capable of glassing a continent. The humans had maybe 200 ships, cobbled together from various Earth nations technologically inferior by at least 5 centuries. The human response came faster this time. Okay. We see you've brought 347 ships. That's actually pretty good for a Tuesday. Our betting pools had you at around 2,800. Johnson from maintenance just won $50. What manner of species treats invasion as entertainment? Kexithera muttered, his confidence flickering for the first time in decades. His tactical officer, Commander Rixtal, stepped forward. Sir, perhaps they don't comprehend the situation. Their primitive minds might not grasp. No, Kexithera interrupted, studying the data streams. Look at their ship movements. They're taking defensive positions, but these formations are unknown to our tactical database. Indeed, the human fleet had arranged itself in a seemingly chaotic pattern that made no strategic sense. Ships clustered in groups of seemingly random sizes, some hanging back near the moon, others brazenly advancing toward the alien fleet. Another transmission arrived. Hey, quick question. Do you guys want to make this interesting? We've got some new toys we've been dying to test. Fair warning, though. We haven't exactly worked out all the kinks yet. Last time we tried one of these in simulation, it accidentally created a small black hole. But hey, that's engineering for you. Kexithera felt an unfamiliar emotion creeping up his spine. Uncertainty. In all his conquests, no species had ever responded to overwhelming odds with what could only be described as excitement. Sir, his sensor operator called out, I'm detecting massive energy buildups throughout their fleet. The readings are inconsistent with known human technology. Define inconsistent. Sir, according to our intelligence, humans barely achieved faster than light travel 50 years ago. These energy signatures suggest they've somehow weaponized quantum entanglement, and is that a miniaturized star? Before Kexithera could respond, space around the human fleet began to shimmer. The seemingly scattered formation suddenly revealed its purpose. Each cluster of ships was anchoring a massive energy web that spanned the entire system. The human transmission came through again, but this time the tone had shifted from casual banter to something that made Kexithera's blood run cold. All right, gentlemen. They seem committed to this. Prep the probability cannons. Oh, and someone wake up Dr. Martinez. She'll want to see if her dimensional fold theory actually works in practice. Probability cannons? Commander Rixtal whispered. That's theoretically impossible. You can't weaponize quantum uncertainty. His words were cut short as the fabric of space around the Zephyrian fleet began to hiccup. Ships randomly found themselves facing different directions, their weapons targeting empty space or, worse, their own vessels. Evasive maneuvers, Kexithera shouted. But half his fleet was discovering that evasive had become a relative term when the laws of physics were apparently taking suggestions. The human communication channel opened once more. Oh good, that one worked. Okay, now let's try the gravity lasso. Fair warning, We're not entirely sure what happens if you get caught in one. The computer models either predict instant death or ascension to a higher dimensional plane. Either way, it should be pretty memorable. Stars around the system began to dim as the humans somehow harnessed gravitational forces like fishing lines, casting them out to snare Zephyrian vessels and fling them into impossible trajectories. Admiral Kexthera watched in growing horror as his supposedly overwhelming fleet found itself trapped in what could only be described as a physics experiment gone wonderfully right. His ships weren't just being destroyed, they were being subjected to phenomena that shouldn't exist. "Sir!" his communications officer called out. "They're hailing us again." The human voice came through one more time. "So, about that surrender demand. We've been thinking it over, and we've got a counter-proposal. How about you surrender to us instead? We promise your deaths will be swift, but honestly, we'd prefer to keep you alive. You guys seem fun, and our xenobiologists are dying to figure out how your technology works. Plus, we've got about 30 more experimental weapons we'd love to field test, and it's always better to have willing participants." As another wave of impossible weaponry washed over his fleet, Admiral Kexthera realized he had made a fundamental error. He had assumed that technological superiority equated to military dominance, but humans, it seemed, had skipped several centuries of conventional development and gone straight to turning the universe into their personal playground. "Broadcast our surrender," he commanded quietly. The human response was immediate and cheerful. "Awesome. Don't worry, the dimensional anchoring is totally reversible. Probably, we'll figure it out. Welcome to the neighborhood, guys. You're gonna love it here." As the Zephyrian fleet found itself gently deposited in Earth's orbital space, Admiral Kexthera couldn't help but wonder if perhaps he had chosen the wrong career path. Behind him, he could hear his crew already placing bets on which human experiment they'd be volunteering for first.